You're in here. SP. I've definitely seen his videos before. SPTV. Scientology, I'm thinking. But he's ex-Scientology, I believe. And then Brian, listen to the end of this.
I
Yes.
transforming people's lives by having them do this for them. Our programs our courses, seminars, whatever you call them.
This guy
And
keeps
there's no
relating things
greater
that
purpose.
they
Does
do in
Landmark push any kind of a
Scientology
belief in a higher power or a supreme being or anything like this?
to the forum, and they can't make a connection. The closest one was that in Scientology people, and I thought people lived inside, but maybe not. They take those buses. I got it. Um, that people have like not full-time jobs. The Scientology guy said they had part-time jobs while they do Scientology assisting. I don't know. I had a full-time job most of the time there.
Do they
I remember my first day of assisting, I got a call for a job.
tend to not believe in a higher power or supreme being?
Yeah, they do not. The
Really?
landmark is very diverse. You can sit there, of course, you can be sitting next to a Muslim woman on this side, a Jewish woman on that side. You there it's very diverse, all
Oh,
backgrounds.
so when you said they do not, I thought you meant they do not believe in a supreme being.
They do not. There is no supreme being. Well,
But do they
It's not about beliefs. It's believing you have the beliefs. It's feeling you have the feelings. It's thinking you have the thoughts.
people believe in whatever they believe.
Well, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. It's one thing to say they don't talk about a supreme being, but do they believe there isn't one? Is that part of the
No, there's no conversation about supreme beings.
okay? So whereas Scientology pretends that you can be a Scientologist and a Christian and a Muslim, for Landmark, it's actually true.
In landmark, you're the supreme being.
But that's true for Scientology as well.
Yeah, but I mean, no, nobody uses the word supreme being. It's more like, but landmark, and there's landmark is more like you are the author of your life. You are, I think people might say something like you're God in your own universe. I think that was more of an SD kind of sentiment. I think they kind of killed that out to be a
Yeah,
professional
no, that
seminar producing organization. But there's no supreme, there's no you can get to a level of enlightenment maybe in through participating, but they don't talk about it in a spiritual or kind of like bigger context.
Was there ever a cultural thing where the higher level Landmark staff members just it where it was almost like culturally
he was talking about how Rick Ross says that, well, it's not at all a cult. The company, as you get up into the higher levels, that it might be culty, and this is just so ridiculously far off. Um, And yeah, people keep saying things like abuse or manipulation or yeah, I just keep asking for it and nothing. I mean, yeah, you have a company with sexual assault and then they redo their policies to make it so that, there's less of that. It's all online now, so it's none of that. And what do you call it? And then Eric getting punched in the shoulder, which, I'm not making any excuses for, is corporate culture across America, I'm sure across the world. So, maybe by Eric letting us know about that is, that would not happen as much, or people would be aware that some people aren't into that. But yeah, I would just say if that were to ever happen anywhere, you just say, bro, I don't play that game. How about I punch you if you don't hit your measures, and I'll play a different game. But I don't want to play that game though. And
they looked down their nose at people who believed in a supreme being or organized religion.
Mm, I was never left with that. No.
Interesting.
but yeah, there's no I don't, other than the punching of the arm and the sexual abuse that Anna's talking about, that they like changed policy since. Um, it's I don't see, I hear just a lot of words, people saying that there's manipulation, but then I ask for an account of a he said, she said, and nobody responds, or I don't see that they say, oh, we'll talk about that. We'll get into that. It's all opinions, the sea of opinions, fact and fiction, true, false. Um, it's all just opinionated because it's you go to find people that still eat older people like cannibals, and you tell them that they're wrong. Like, what are they gonna look at you like you're nuts? So, we don't want to get caught in the sea of opinions. You can hang out in the sea of opinions. It's just nothing ever gets done in the sea of opinions. So it's kind of a waste of your time, and you can kind of get a lot more stuff done without m miring in the sea of opinions. Um, and then yeah, there's no beliefs. You have the beliefs. We already went over that.
That's very interesting. I think it's important. I mean, I think that's meaningful that you were never left with that, because there's so many things in Scientology that are cultural. Like, no one ever sits you down and says, you're like, there's not like a specific.
Oh yeah, people are like I had to do this. We were forced. They're going to be exposed. It's like, okay, I feel like these same exact tropes have been the exact same for the past 50 years, where people are like launching attacks, but there's no actual basis to the attack. It's just words, manipulation, but there's like no actual manipulation happening there. They literally are going over that people manipulate and people dominate, that they're making you aware of that. So the people that are anyway going over that with you aren't gonna be doing that to you. And you say, oh, well, it's just at the higher levels of the organization. No, it's just more intense than you've ever experienced it at that. But to even refer to it as intense is a story. It's kind of made up. It's just like we made up the word intense, like there was no intense before intense. Like, um, so to assign intense to something is literally you just describing it. It's your story about what has actually happened. It's like, no, I said X, I said that I would do 10 and I came in with 9. Um, but yeah, you go in and you don't wait for them to yell. You say, I promised 10, I did 9. What the impact is on that person and on me and on the world, and what possibilities am I going forward for the future, and what am I committed to doing, what new action am I committing, what new promise am I committing to making. And yeah, I mean, like, I don't have much more time than that, and I don't think that person does either. They just want to make sure that you get the impact of coming in with 9 is not 10 and 90% is not. Do you know what I mean? Like, where do you see the development in that? It's nothing wrong or bad or anything. Like, it doesn't go on a permanent record. It's just like that one person matters.
Specific course or auditing action where someone sits you down and tells you that you can't believe in a higher power. But it is wholly inconsistent with the beliefs of Scientology to believe in a supreme being or a heaven or a hell or in a prophet or anything. So in a very real level, it's just not possible to be a Scientologist and believe in any other organized religion. Now, that has not prevented Louis Farrakhan's Nation of Islam of become many of members of that organization have become Scientologists, even though it's not possible. So something is happening that I'm saying isn't possible, and there's something to explore there. But I think you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, you can't.
Landmark people will tell you that out of their participation, most of them will tell you that whatever their God or their higher power is, it helped them get closer to it. There's like, again, Landmark. I think Landmark holds the line in being too weird, and I think the eccentricities of its founder.
He said too weird, and he was saying earlier that he's upset that he didn't know that Warner was the founder of Est, which then got sold to Landmark Worldwide. Um, I don't know why you need to know about that, but that's fine. No one was stopping you hiding who Warner was, you could always have looked up, who created or what turned into Landmark Forum or the Forum by Landmark, and it's like um you'll find out S, and then like who created S, and then you'll find out that like if you look, Tony Robbins like was literally learned probably most of what he knows from Warner. um and look, Warner learned it from a lot of books, learned it from a lot of Buddhist temples. um he put in the work. We don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Get all over the business operations and are unhealthy and are called.
Yeah, the business operations are super great. And they keep using the word panicking. It's like that's how it's occurring to you as they're panicking. They're not necessarily panicking. That's just how you're experiencing that. And sure, they're dealing with stuff too because they've never been in that position either, but they are trained to be in that position.
And definitely high control. And they
Nothing culty about it. It's all just like, oh, we go to the same grocery store, so we're in a cult. It's like, no, like it's so far away from a cult. It's not even funny.
Change it because there is a lot of good in the organization, and there is, but you also have to deal with why would they not give you informed consent? How do you get stuck?
Informed consent? I don't know. Everyone chooses to be there. At the end of the forum, I got free choice and enlightenment, and then everything I did after that was my choice. I didn't do the advanced course right away. If I could redo it, I would have done the advanced course right away. And everything that we do, whether we choose to work there or assist or do whatever, it's all free choice.
Into this thing and then find out as it goes on more and more truths, more.
Oh yeah, and I have nothing to do with Landmark. I don't represent them at all. I don't make any money off of them. Nothing. There's no affiliate link down below. They promise more and more as things go on. It's like it's just in agreements and conversations and training and development, and yeah, it's probably more than you've dealt with before, but guaranteed Brian will go on within, if he's not already, he is already, finding an opportunity that works for him and he makes what he wants to make and is in love and all the things are working in his life, and that is due to even that 26th year of training that was challenge for him. And yeah, I don't know if he left early, in which case, that would be part of it. It's like get complete with you leaving early. Like just say I left early, and then I mean you don't have to do that. I'm just saying I would be like, I broke my commitment, and what can I do to make it up? And the answer is probably nothing. It's all good, whatever. Um, but just coming to grips with that and getting complete with any grievance or complaint or whatever, because it's really all inside of like a story or descriptions of what we're actually seeing, which is he said, she said, actions.
You find yourself, the deeper you get in situations that you weren't, you learn about things like the fact this man left his family. I find out about that after I'm already.
Okay, all right. So Warner, yeah, so left his family.
All these people in my programs and everything around me. That's not informed consent. And then you have to kind of deal with yourself, like, what is this? And you kind of make peace with it and you move on. And then there's another effed up thing. And then you have to work it out. And you kind of go, I trust them. And they're usually pretty.
Oh, I didn't rewind it. Yeah, so Warner had broken up with someone with kids, and then went with someone else, and then came back to his original family and atoned and told them everything and took responsibility for everything, and now they all have a great relationship. Like there's no issue whatsoever. So yeah, people are capable of taking responsibility for stuff,
they act,
and that doesn't change it, but at least they could attempt to clean it up and ask for forgiveness
in a level-headed manner. So you kind of go, okay. And then at some point, it's like for me and Stephen Hassan, who I believe you talked about his book.
Not meant to be a pleasant conversation. Stephen Hassan is Hassan, bite, behavior, information, something else, and emotions. It's none of that. They don't control your behaviors whatsoever. If you chose to work there, you should know the hours, you should know the responsibilities of your job, you should know what happens if you miss your responsibilities, and ideally you set yourself up blasting through your targets, doubling, tripling your targets so that you never even have that kind of conversation. But ultimately, it's just a conversation. So if someone was yelling at someone, it's literally just a break open. It's not, and that person left with the breakthrough themselves. Um, no one's left having being not saying everything that they want to say in a conversation. They're not like booted out of the office, yelled at, and then booted back out.
A couple times on my channel too.
He's amazing. And he said, it could just be that this group is lying to you, and that's enough. And for me, that was enough.
I'm not sure who he was talking about there, but he's like, if they're lying to you, that's enough. And like, there's all these things because of a recent lawsuit that they're lying to you. Like, no, it's they're a business that does a lot of business globally. They have lawsuits to deal with. They deal with them, and then they revise, revamp, reinvent, transform whatever they need to do to ideally not deal with that again. They're a 34-year-old business. They're not going to um just allow something to repeat when they're literally the people that are teaching that. It's like stop the patterns that aren't working for you.
When I could feel it in my bones that something was not being said, and I was being asked to do things that were not truthful. And I don't know if it was like this big international.
Again, another exaggeration. I was being asked to do something untruthful. Okay, tell me, please. What exactly did you do that was untruthful? No, you felt that way because of the lawsuit, and you didn't get a full answer on that, and then you left the company and go on.
Like they're going to do a Bow documentary on it, but so many people have been led to that. Then they spend their life doing all this, and then they didn't change the whole world. The company kept going down. They were being
yeah, I mean, look, the world's not gonna, Rome wasn't built in a day. The world's not gonna change in a day. You say that the company's going down, like not at all. Yeah, maybe they have way fewer employees. I mean, look, we used to have the assisting agreements to like line up all the chairs, set up the chalkboards, write on the chalkboards. Um, all the things, get the lectern set up, get tissue boxes ready, get I mean, these are good tiers, you know what I mean? Um, but having all that stuff prepared and now it's all digital, so we don't have to do any of that stuff anymore. So like they're just super efficient now. Um,
being pressured the whole time, and you're left in this spot. Like, wow, how did I get here?
I mean, that's the first question in the forum is like, what kind of a being is a human being? How did I get to where I am now? And very soon, if not, no, already Brian is clicking that he is putting his training to maximal use. Like he is probably the most effective person in his life. And a lot of people are probably relying on you, Brian. And that's amazing. You're inspiring all those people. Um, and I want you to get that 26th year that you put in working there is showing up in your life right now.
Right.
And so all the stuff that we're saying and these other, they say it's good to listen to the other groups talk. I can't relate to some of the things you went through growing up in Scientology. However, I do believe many of the people's children who their parents were this.
You can't relate, but you can certainly like really get it.
So can completely relate to what you're talking about.
Oh, children of parents who were wrapped up in landmark for their whole lives.
Yes.
Oh, that's
there is.
thing.
Some have fine experiences with that. Others have real.
Yeah, that would just be a story and a mindset and something like that. I mean, Scientology is what I could tell. Like you're actively involved for a decently long period of time. It didn't say it was always a billion-year contract. That's like the C origins or the C organization or something like that. But the idea is like you stay active for a long time. Like Landmark's just like just do the forum and the advanced course and that's it. And it's like you want to do more, there is more. Make sure you have your finances right. You're giving yourself some free time and just know that this commitment is this amount of hours per week or for 13 weeks or per 6 months or a year, whatever the 2 years, whatever the commitment is, and just be present to that. And like, I mean, it's not really a good idea to just like break your promises. If I'm gonna do this for 13 weeks, it's like just like do it, like work your life out to do it. And if your finances and your free time isn't there right now, then like get that there and make sure you're socking away 10% of your income and putting it away somewhere. And and then you'd be glory. The 10% deal is from Richest Man in Babylon.
Resentments. Their parents went around on the TV show Weeds. I've never seen that. They do a great rip on Landmark, and this girl is like smoking a joint, and she's like 12, and she's like, "Yeah, my mom's at the hotel doing a Landmark forum." You know, and we hear all these things, and we kind of, when you're on the inside, you kind of laugh it off, and you kind of learn. The S training started with Werner Erhard walking out, going, "You're an asshole, and your life does not work." And it was radical. And in the 70s, it went on fire, and it just spread. I mean, it went viral. Like what we call viral now, it was huge. I live in Minneapolis, and I'm a huge, this shows me being gay and being totally just a wackadoodle, but I'm a huge Mary Tyler Moore Show fan. And she was in Minneapolis. She lived right down the street from where the house is literally, I go by it when I go running. And the whole cast in it, he ended up having some kind of relationship with Cloris Leachman. He was one of the Diana Ross, my cousin told me, my cousin's partner said he wanted to do assisting so he could be in a phoning to register people so he could sit next to Diana Ross. I mean, this was like a huge thing that went down, but it was controversial from the minute he said hello because he started. So Werner Erhard had this really irreverent.
I mean, it's only controversial if you say it is. It was, yes, there were controversies then. And what if that was just Scientology attacking and then a lot of other people being like, hey, yeah, maybe they're right. You know what I mean? And not even knowing it, kind of like what's going on in the comment section in all these videos.
Awesome, kind of. So you feel like when you say the thing about you're in the cool cult, you feel like you're part of this cool thing, and everybody, the rest of the world just doesn't quite get it. Like they're on the ordinary end, and you're with this, you're on the right side. And so then so it's not all bad. It's just they really do a bad job in how they leave people, and there is a lot of evidence that there are people who get messed up by it. Which I assume happens in Scientology as well.
Yeah, I keep cracking up because the magic mic's coming here. You're an asshole, and your life doesn't work. Sounds like me.
Wow. All right. Well, this wasn't quite the call I really had, but I loved it. I really appreciate the opportunity to express myself. I said a lot of things here I would never say, and I'm cool with it. Is there anything other questions you have or anything?
Do you want to go through? Well, I have some stuff. I have
yeah, that's
comments.
Go ahead.
But one last question I wanted to ask is there any part of the landmark programs or courses or seminars or whatever that focuses on certain people that you should cut out of your life? Is there any part of the program that tends to be disruptive to families?
No, landmark is
other than spending 1 million hours working for you.
That's the only thing that I mean. At my age, I would landmark is about bringing in the forum. You get closer to your family. Now, 16 Under did several episodes about one of the main characters, Ruth, the mom, doing what was 100% a rip on landmark forum, and in her course she's watching, they tell her this woman gets up and goes, "My father, he's."
I don't know if I missed the Nexium part. So Nexium, apparently the owner, Keith Vanguard, who's doing 120 years in prison. That's ridiculous. Took the forum and then basically ripped it off and remade it his own and then added whatever he added.
Basically, I'm laughing because they're making so much fun of landmark.
Another reason why companies don't last 34 years and have 93% satisfaction ratings.
But that the woman's father set her on fire. And the instructor coaches her to go and apologize to her father. So where landmark is problematic is that they coach you to go get closer with your family, but there are certain situations in life where it would be unhealthy and
I think that everyone is clear in those type of situations that you are getting off the chest of making that person out to be a evil, bad person, and the reason why things aren't working out for you in a certain way is because of that guy who I guess he said lit her on fire. So people are like, oh, they made me apologize to a rape victim was made to apologize to the rapist, and it's like that's not really what's going on, nor does the rape victim feel that way whatsoever. They are extremely clear that they are doing it to give up their resentment and their regrets in life so they can be completely free from that. So it's literally freeing victims, freeing people that were manipulated.
Possibly for people who've experienced different issues, it could be damaging for them to do that. But overall, for the general person, landmark brings you closer to your family, and it's a good thing. It was for mine.
Interesting. Okay. All right, well, here's some of the things that I have starred. Some of these have actually.
I mean, yeah, it's not really that damaging. People, it seems from what comments I've seen, is people are like, I saw this happen, and it's like you're not that person, nor did you talk to that person afterwards. So don't assume that you knew what was going on in that person's head. That person heard something maybe a little differently than what you heard, and they are yeah, they're free for the first time.
Actually already been answered, so I won't pull them up. Okay, Kate Taylor says, I've done most of Landmark's courses. When I left, I found myself listening to SPTV because I had nowhere else to get a debrief of what had happened. Having said that, I did get a lot.
That's what you guys gladly use social media for, is a debrief. So I'm glad that people are posting this and I can reply back, and you know, I'm not selling a course. Um And if what you want for your life since you were 6 years old or 12 years old or whatever is possible through a course, then like it's silly to just shun something away. Like even I went into Scientology and like sat down and talked to them for a few minutes. And then I realized like that I already had all this information already. So there's no point in me um continuing with this conversation, but I wasn't stopped from going there. Um I was open to it. I didn't know what it was.
Lot feud. When I see a comment like this, I mean, there's a lot of people who will say the same thing about Scientology. They, well, like I said, nobody joins a cult. They join what they think is a helpful organization. The same thing is true for Scientology. Nobody joins Scientology thinks they're joining a cult. They join it because they think that they hope to get something out of it. They usually do a little thing, and then you sometimes get something out of it, and then seek more.
Yeah, again, it just seems like Scientology is the thing that keeps continuing. And that this billion-year contract thing, and that yeah, it's just a little bit more of a religiosity route. And the forum is there's no theology involved at all. And I got way closer to God and Jesus and the Bible after doing the forum.
More. And it's funny because if you're a Scientologist, you use the positive aspects that were the positive experiences that you've had in Scientology to justify or explain away all of the terrible things. But for me, I found it took me having a lot of time distance from Scientology to stop always having to explain that it's not all bad. Nothing is all bad. Like that's almost like when I started doing my videos early on, I felt I had a whole lot of attention on making sure that my content would not be offensive to someone else still in Scientology. And so I just felt the need to always explain that, well, of course there's positive parts of it, and to my mind that's what Scientologists are focused on. Yes, there's some part of it that people find helpful, and the lower levels are more helpful than the upper levels, that kind of stuff, right? But I think I just have stopped feeling the need to explain that it's not all bad. Nothing is all bad. And the fact that it has some good parts doesn't actually excuse the horrendously abusive parts. And at the end of the day, it's all a con anyway.
Sure. And he's admitting that Scientology is allegedly horrendous and abusive in certain scenarios. And I see zero other than the arm punching thing and this lady that accused someone of sexual harassment and then apparently seemed to make a change within the organization. So like she made a difference there. Like, so thank you, Anne, for making that difference. Like I'm legitimately like appreciative that like we had to go there to get here.
Now that's something I say that's true for Scientology. It seems like you may not necessarily feel that way about Landmark. Like it doesn't sound like you're saying it's all a con.
I think that it is. Well, look,
it's just so wild. Like it's not all a con. And then Brian's like, well, it's like the answer is no, it's not a con whatsoever at all. Like even my wife is like, oh, I thought it was like a money grab. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't like realize that you were thinking that. By the way, it's not you thinking, it is thinking and you having thoughts, but regardless, um, I don't know. Like I buy apple cider vinegar. I pay a cost for it. I get the apple cider vinegar. This is the same exact thing. I pay for happiness, enlightenment, and freedom from anxiety and some other things, and I get that stuff in 5 days. Like I don't know any other way to get that stuff, and I know that nobody needs this, and that people could really use it, and people say that they want it, but then when it's proposed, it's like, no, I don't want to do that thing because it's quote unquote culty, which is completely made up out of the blue, and no one can give me any actual examples of any cultish behavior whatsoever.
I knew on my unpacking journey, and I may end.
Oh, I get it, Brian. You're unpacking. You worked there 26 years, and it is a high performing organization. So I get how that it can occur as intense or whatever it occurs as.
You're right about it. I'm not saying that, but they say, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. But, look, there are people. I had once my committed listener one time called me because I didn't, they have home introductions and I didn't schedule one. So it's an introduction to someone's home. So people have to go over for coffee and they talk about, they invite their friends and family, kind of like a Tupperware party. And that's a big part of the.
I mean, if that was a prior agreement that you schedule, introductions, then that's great. Or maybe they're committed and you were only doing introductions not in the home. I don't know. And I also can't blame Landmark is an organization for one person doing something or saying something. There's a lot of people all up to winning and self empowerment of them and their families and themselves, and they don't want to get in the way of other things. Um, and yeah, I mean, they do what they do, but it's not like an organizational, cultural.
The business model is always home introductions, and they need to quit. Well, they now do more like one-on-one Zoom calls. But anyways, I didn't schedule the introduction, and it was a Saturday, and I wanted to get to the movies, so I was going to sneak out without doing.
I was gonna sneak out without doing it. So you're upset that like someone called you out on your promise.
And my committed listener got me on the phone for like 30 minutes, and I was called a fat, lazy bigot.
I mean, that's not the forum whatsoever. It's and you can't, and people don't like to be held accountable either, but you know, fat and lazy. I don't know. Like maybe Ryan's told that committed listener that that he didn't want to be lazy anymore and he wanted to lose some weight. I don't know what the context of this is. If that's the case, which I imagine would be the case, because I would talk to my committed listener about everything. Then yeah, I mean, I can't really be upset with someone calling me out for that.
All sorts of stories like that. When I say emotional abuse,
And maybe that person, well, that person was definitely dealing with their own stuff. And not to excuse any of that, by the way, it's not appropriate. Um, I guess the question is how do you want to be talked to? I mean, two people in any, what do they say, relationship? It turns out the definition when he went back, there's a great video on YouTube of Warner talking about relationships. I think it's called relationships. And then he gets to the some definition. And by the way, looking up definitions, like when did that become like a bad, evil, cultish thing to look up a definition in the dictionary? Are you kidding me? Um, so I don't remember. I was just saying it was important.
I mean it. I don't know if I've ever gone that I said something that awful to someone, but people, that environment, see this guy, Werner Erhard, the evil side or the dark side.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is just like putting all this blame on Warner, but yeah, again, show me the abuse, show me whatever it is, and show me them not acknowledging it at all.
He is a complete narcissist. So you do not,
I mean, Warner is very much about everybody else. This is so wild. People are like, "You're the narcissist." I'm like, I am only here for you. Like I'm good. I'm good. I don't really have any wants or needs right now. I set my life up and I'm good. Like I'm working on stuff, yeah, for sure. But like if you're gonna talk to me about nothing and then complain about stuff, and I'm like, hey, here's something that you like say like I don't know how to explain. I mean, I challenge anybody to explain this stuff. You can't explain happiness. You can't explain. If you could explain freedom or happiness, then everybody would be free and happy. I was like, oh, it's just read a book.
he flips out on you. What I didn't tell you is, so the last, that right before I quit, we had to watch a video of him in current time at age 88, working with the people who lead the forum. And we had to watch it 5 times during this workshop to see his brilliance. And during that, he snaps at this
Just says we have to, we have to, we have to.
lovely man. And he says, I don't give a fuck what you think. And it was like this look in his eye. And the next day, so I'm already questioning things, but I'm pretty good.
Yeah, again, we have no idea what the context is. If he was leading a forum, especially if he's with graduates and someone says, I think, after we've gone over the conversation of it's not you thinking, you're having the thoughts, then yeah, we don't need to know and spend time on I think and I don't think and I want and I don't want. It's a literal waste of time. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And if you haven't discovered the stuff of the forum, the ideas, the distinctions of the forum or the advanced course, then do those things and come on back because it's you got you got a lot. You got a lot to give.
The next day, it's my Sunday.
Not a lot to give to Landmark, a lot to give to the people in your life. Like, I don't know what you're up to, what you're creating, but
Right. And after a big weekend like that, you just kind of veg out. You have to decompress. So we turn on Netflix. And a lot of Landmark people watch this stuff and they're just like, oh, isn't that interesting? Aren't we glad we're not in a cult? And we turned on this video, this movie called Twin Flames Universe. And it's online. So now Landmark's online. So their whole cult is online. And I'm watching as their leader. And this woman challenged him, and he spoke the exact same way with the same look in his eye as Werner Erhard did 5 times this video. And it showed my shit. And I was just like, this way this man gets this temper tantrum, throw things physically, can be physically violent, is reported by many people. This way is all over the entire, what they would call clearing of the entire company.
saying I don't give a fuck what you think isn't physical abuse. Um, and I don't know what is this 21 Flames on Netflix. I guess I'll check that out, but yeah, they're nothing but a professional organization.
And it just existed. So the fish stinks at the top of the head is an expression that they use. And that way, I don't care if it's 99% break. That's like saying, oh, my husband is wonderful to me 99% of the time. He only beats me 1% of the time.
Yeah, how do you go from I don't give an F what you think to beating?
The 1% of the time cancels out the 99% of the time. So if these people are really committed to actually not being a cult and being an actual business, they need to eradicate this way that's running through the organization. And
What way? You keep talking about a way or an abuse or a manipulation. It's like, tell me what exactly happened.
they believe
Oh yeah, nothing really happened.
he is some kind of, they can call it God, but he is the ultimate. And so I believe they double down on his teachings, thinking, and ways of acting and treating people.
Except for Anne's sexual assault, which should have been done, apparently was that in the 90s, the 2000s? I don't know. Apparently she still worked there until they went online. So even after the assault, she continued to devote her life to this for another decade, or I don't know what the timeline is.
And they're blind to it, and it is absolutely culty, for sure.
It really seems like you all just discovered Rick Ross and discovered Scientology and then started making comparisons and then started getting really worried.
Yeah, the way you're describing this
Which
organization
is completely valid until right now. Once you see this, you know that all of this is a story made up, unless they can say they said X and I said Y, and then they put their hands on me and it not be edited out of future videos, then I don't know what is real. We don't know what is real. What only is real is an existing in distance, time, and form. So where is the cultural repeated abuse from the same person out of the same set? It doesn't exist.
being run to me 100% makes it a cult, regardless of. To me, what defines the organization is how it is that it's
Yeah, it's 0% a cult. I don't know how you like make these judgments and then call it what you think you want to call it because you saw something or heard something from somebody, said something.
or at highest levels. I've heard the argument made the opposite way, that no, an organization is defined as by the experience of the greatest number of the members, and the greatest number of members are at the bottom, and that's really what it means to have the real Scientology experience. And I go, no, the real experience, or whether something is or is not a cult, is the culture at the innermost or the highest most levels, what it is at its essence, at its pure.
This is all nonsense. It's a one charismatic leader that everybody's like that person. Werner retired for that reason, so that you didn't think that. Same reason why George Washington retired, for that exact same reason. So we don't have a king.
And I'm sorry, the Landmark sounds like absolutely a cult, even if doing the Landmark Forum for a weekend does not mean you joined.
It has to do with joining, taking away from you from your family. That's a cult. We tell you to go be with your family.
Okay.
I keep saying we. I don't represent them at all.
That's thank you for taking all the time. When people watch it from my world, maybe they can start distinguishing that for themselves and not put up.
Yeah, I watched it from your world. I don't know if I've had conversations with you, but I know of you and I know you made a massive difference and you're kind of just stuck in this, oh my gosh, what did I do? And you didn't do anything bad. You got super well trained and now you're going to go take that training into the rest of your life.
Up with it.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Because I think what I would say here, at least this is my opinion of Landmark, if you are just doing the forum or doing the seminars, you haven't joined the cult.
Again, there you go. Opinion. It's all the sea of opinions. They don't actually do anything. I'm not saying your self-expression is about not to stifle who you are and what you want to get across. But it's just like, do the forum. If it's such a cult, then come get me out of it. And what kind of cult is it that I don't pay any money or get any money from and don't do any of their courses?
You join the cult when you become a staff member.
Or a leader.
Or a leader.
Because a leader doesn't get paid, remember?
Oh, that's
They're
right,
just equally in. Yeah, they don't call volunteer, you get in trouble. But anyways, keep going with people's stuff.
Okay, Scientology Money Project. This is Jeff Augustine. I think he had a lot of experience with S. Werner Erhard was a grade 4 release in Scientology. Okay.
I know you that mean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, but when your best friend also gets the same level of happiness that you got out of 5 days, I don't know. I'm like just a little bit, a lot of it happier when that happens. And when someone else calls me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like I did it or did the advanced course too," and it's like,
James, I believe you.
It's one of the highest grades of the lower grades. He says, "Outrageous Betrayal." Is that the book you showed?
Yeah.
Was commissioned by Scientology's Office of Special Affairs as a hit piece on Werner. The author had access to.
There you go, and that's why I'm saying a lot of comments and some videos maybe, and I don't know, but the hit piece of Scientology against Werner it seems like a little bit of history rhyming.
And that's very interesting. Now, one of the things about Osa's files is Osa's files are not necessarily full of false information.
It's just so simple. Like, I'm not gonna judge a restaurant I haven't been to, not gonna judge a movie that I haven't seen. I can't. That's literally judging a book by the cover.
It could be. Usually Osa's files is full of true information that they consider to be blackmail. And then, of course, when they put that information out in the public, they will twist it and alter it and make it much worse. But that's very interesting, Jeff. We should have a chat about how this is about this. Jeff also said L. Ron Hubbard ordered a fair game campaign on Werner in 1972, the same year that he wrote the Snow White program. The Snow White program is the
Did say L. Ron ordered a hit on Werner?
Infiltration of the United States government by Scientology. Jeff says Werner was a big fan of Heidegger's phrase, language lives in the house of being. What does that mean?
So the fundamental principle of the work that's done at Landmark is ontological, which is the philosophical domain of being. So what?
I mean, it might not be like the point of the, I don't remember what word he used. They pull from a lot of places, and yeah, being is a part of it. And yeah, it's in ontological way and domain of being.
What Landmark is about is who you're being in relationship to yourself as a human being. You're not a human doing, Aaron, you're a human being. And so there's the beingness of being human. So Heidegger breaks this all down and creates things like possibility. And you know that you are not who you wound up being, who you
Like, what's the alternative? Make every single kid read Heidegger and then make every single kid learn Buddhism and make every single kid learn all these different things that he did. I mean, yeah, you can cite and pull out and say, oh, that's from there and that's from there. And Warner didn't steal there, right? He didn't steal Buddhism and wrap it up into a paid thing. He took a lot of things from a lot of different places. There are tons of books written from the 03 all the way to with George Bernard Shaw all the way to the 1930s, 40s, like 50s, like classic American literature, not literature, like I don't know if that's the right word, but writings about success and effectiveness and all these things.
Who you consider yourself to be, you are a being, and you can be any way you want to be. You can create it because you have language. So if you said to yourself when you were 7, I'm stupid. Because you said, raised your hand, go, oh, Abraham Lincoln, but everybody else said,
yeah, I don't know when I said it, but I started saying I'm lucky a lot, and that is gone.
Was George Washington was the answer? Somebody laughed at you? You said, I'm stupid. So you said that. So since you said that in language, it doesn't really exist. So you can like.
I did say something was wrong early on, and I got that. Nothing's wrong.
Know that, and you could create any way to be. So who we know ourselves to be as human beings is from language. So language is the most powerful thing we have. And there's a lot of actual scientific proof that goes with that. However, why does Landmark then create loaded language?
However, and these loaded language, it's like, what exactly do you mean by loaded language? All I see is being very specific, very clear, meaning what they say, saying what they mean.
And it creates a mind control type, however you want to call it.
I'm not saying that one person wasn't doing other things aside from what's in the forum. What's in the forum would not result in any sort of abuse whatsoever. It's just result in being direct and straight with people because they said, "Hey, I'll be willing to be direct and straight with."
Phenomenon in groups of people.
Very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Lights, Camera, Act says I was harassed and had to say no many times before they stopped bugging me about it, whether it was strangers calling me or my friends that were in it. Does that ring true?
Absolutely.
I mean, again, harassed, you see. And okay, so they called 6 times in so many days. I don't, it was every other day, and you don't leave a message, every other message. It was 5 times, and 2 times you didn't leave a message. It was just a call. So look, I mean, follow up is follow up. Sorry that, I mean, it's not harassment whatsoever. That's your interpretation of it. I'm not saying that you didn't feel that way. It is a real feeling. It's just not, feelings just aren't real. harassed, called a lot. Yeah, I mean, look, you tell me that you want happiness, enlightenment, freedom from anxiety, and then you get upset at me for following up with you because you haven't told me no yet. You told me that you were in the salon and had to leave. It's like, please, please, I'm only here for you. Do not get upset at me for you wanting happiness. You're dealing with stuff right now, and let's shine a light on that and show you what it is, and then you can make the decision for yourself, and we'll see.
Absolutely.
Okay, Lisa loves it.
I'm sure who that person is. The person would get in a lot of trouble because we don't really do that. Just the person did that. Even though there's tens of
Would get in a lot of trouble. I mean, I don't know
thousands of
what
stories
you're
like that.
saying,
Go ahead.
Lisa Love says, I'm curious how strong landmark education is after all this time. They used to fill rooms by the hundreds not that long ago. Is landmark education what the organization is called, or is that like a
It
subordinate?
used to be called Landmark Education. I'm not quite clear what Lisa is saying because it used to be called Landmark Education. The company has changed its name many, about 6, 7 times in its history. It usually has to do with different, I believe, LLC arrangements in their business structure. But Landmark is how strong Landmark Education is after all this time. They did used to fill rooms by the hundreds. They don't continue to have rooms. They have it online, and I don't believe their participation online matches their levels that it did when it was in person.
My father-in-law did the forum. It was like 110 people maybe, and then it dropped down to like 102 or 98 or something like that. So yeah, if people are dealing with stuff like my father-in-law, the first time he took it, he fell asleep in the evening portion of it, and we don't want to pay and then miss it, you know what I mean? So
Not yet. They're committed to it getting back.
All right, Lisa Love also says
I mean, yeah, 100 people in a weekend and done all over the world, many weekends a year. I mean, that's
they don't recommend it. This had to do with the antidepressants issue. They do not recommend it because they know how vulnerable people can suffer from their techniques, and they do not want lawsuits. It shows you how dangerous it can be. What is the aspect of
it's like if you're taking anti-anxiety medicine and then we have a conversation having nothing to do with medicine or uh, health whatsoever about freedom from anxiety, that could be a lot for someone, and it's doesn't have to be, and they can through nutrition get off of that medication if they work it out with their doctor that's prescribing it and tell them that they want to replace it with nutrition, and they're committed to doing the nutrition thing, and they do the nutrition thing and then stay committed to it, and then even when it gets hard, get back on the wagon. um and then 6 months, a year later, whatever, it's their choice if they want to do it and understand that they're gonna get freedom from anxiety naturally out of dealing and processing things that are in their way that are keeping them anxious. I mean, as long as they're clear on that, they're aware of it. And yeah, I mean, I get how that can be jarring, but it's like, hey, we're here with not the Band-Aid, we're here with literally like the complete healing. So you can keep on suffering and taking the medicine, or you can start a healing process, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're getting it at 50, 60, 70 years old versus getting it at 18 or 20.
the forum that is dangerous enough that they do not want potentially mentally unstable people involved?
It's not dangerous at all, but yes, if you bring someone that's on a drug saying that we're masking your anxiety and then giving them freedom from anxiety, that's kind of like not, you should be aware of that.
Like, what's going on?
Part of the accusation, so the court could tell you there's nothing wrong, but what people could take them to court for is, first of all, you're in a room with a bunch of people, and it could go for hours. They started capping it and ending each day at 10:30, but it used to, when I did it, it went to midnight. It could go later. The S training would.
Yeah, like I said, they went to midnight. Okay, I didn't do that, but Brian did that, so they get the concern or complaint or whatever you want to call it, and then they do something about it. They're not going to continue to operate in a way that's ineffective for people.
It would go till like 3 a.m. So if you are sleep deprived and you're in this high state,
There's no more sleep deprivation.
You are, people who, if you can't go home, you can't go to bed, you have a psychotic break.
Yep.
So certain people have already existing preconditions as well. Now, by the way, all the stuff I said about well-being and how you have to follow that, it's all the well-being policies for Landmark are run through the legal office. So they're not, what she's saying is somewhat correct, because you are doing that because one lawsuit could take the whole company down.
Got it.
And you're not the person who did that to the company.
Right. Show me your kitties. It says, are they allowed to look outside the bubble? Yeah. So you mentioned you're not allowed to gossip or speak negatively about generally other people.
Yeah, this is all about looking outside the bubble. This is about trashing the bubble. This is about blowing away with the box, and there is no box.
Are you allowed to look online about any criticism and negativity about Landmark?
Yeah, sure. But it's just like know what you're looking at. Like the Reddit forum that doesn't allow anybody to comment back, like probably not really like open to any criticism about your criticism. Like the yeah, no comments. Or yeah, the people that haven't done it. It's like again, talking about something you don't know about.
What would happen if someone finds out that you're doing that?
Well, I need to go to dial back what I said. If it came across like gossip is a part of your integrity and your word, but it's not like nobody would ever say you're not allowed to do anything at Landmark. They don't. I mean, they might say you're not allowed to sexually harass somebody like a normal company would, but they would never say you're not allowed. It's a teaching. It's a principle to not gossip. It's not on
that means that means you're not allowed to.
Correct. And Landmark wouldn't. But Landmark would never like say you can't.
Yeah, it's not allowed to. It's just you gossip, you're gonna karma. You're gonna get it back at
On the
you.
internet and look at something. They don't.
But if they found out that you did, though, are you getting handled by your dedicated listener?
Your committed listener. If
Oh.
I told, well, in my personal experience, no, I think no, I don't know. It's not like that. It's just not like they don't control you in what you think about the outside world. You're allowed to have opinions about any topic. You can have Republicans sitting next to Democrats. You can have, like I said before, Jewish people sitting next to Muslims. So when you look outside the bubble, if there's too much of that going on, I mean, this is just my experience. Let me see. If people, yeah, I don't. I think they might say something to kind of encourage you not to, but they wouldn't tell you directly like you'd be breaking a rule to do it. If you did it. Does that make sense? Like they would never. Their whole deal, there's a certain.
I love seeing people on YouTube complain about being silenced or being like suppressed. And it's like, dude, you have the microphone right now. Nobody took down your video, and I've been banned almost as much as anybody. I mean, Destiny's banned like crazy. So like, oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, they'll get the pity point.
Fairness attitude that comes with everything. So how you get gaslit at Landmark is when you say, well, you say not gossip, and they go, oh, well, really, you're the problem with that. And they take you to.
If it comes off as gaslighting, it's not meant to be gaslighting whatsoever.
On that direction. So while I was looking online, and they go, oh, really? So you believe everything online?
Okay, so they're trying to handle you.
I mean, that's that person being a little bit, I don't know, dismayed that someone is bringing a complaint to them. I mean, unless you're really good at dealing with complaints and expecting them, I could see how someone would be a little jarring. No excuses though. But yeah, again, it's all a bunch of flack online about people that haven't done the forum complaining about something that they haven't even participated in. They went to some introduction sometime and made up some story about what happened, and then they think that it's a bad organization, and then they post online, and then other people post back, and then who knows who's real and who's Scientology and who's Russian and foreign whatever.
Well, but
Nothing
you're
against Russian people. I freaking love Russian people.
Well, you won't get in trouble. That would not. They have to follow the law. They can't. They're a company. They can't.
it's not illegal.
Just you don't have to invade to get what you want. You can be a wealthy, happy country without invading. I understand Rorik started Russia and started Kiev, but he didn't start. Oh, Kiev was long prior.
Illegal to discourage people from reading negative info about the organization.
Yes, I mean, but discouragement is different than allowed to, or to have a rule about it.
I don't think it is.
Maybe I could be wrong. I mean, even if your state localized cannabis use, you were not allowed to use it, even if you're a volunteer.
Even if it's a medical.
If it's a medical thing, maybe you could prove that. But in most situations, or a spiritual thing, I know a lot of people running around in ayahuasca stuff, and they claimed it as a religious thing. But besides that, no, you can't do that, and that made no sense to me. Why I think they didn't want the image in the world to be, because they come from a hippie generation. They didn't want it to be like we are all these wild people, lit up and choking it.
Okay, so it sounds like even if maybe they're going to give you a pep talk about perhaps it's not great.
Well, right now with this book, what they would do is they'd say something more like, we're right now, because Anne wrote this book, Landmark's not a perfect organization, and we're working on fixing some of the issues addressed, and we disagree with others, and you can go down that road if you want to. But that road, Anne Pearson wrote this book, is a cult.
Okay.
It just came out. It's very good. It's on Amazon.
Yeah, again, I mean, I've watched hours and hours of Anne's videos and went to her website, and I don't want to support. If someone just wants to send me a book or hand me a book or email me a book, I'd be happy to read it. But if you can't tell me one example of actual abuse aside from Eric getting punched in the elbow and you claiming something that, I mean, it seems like they've made a difference with already as far as sexual assault policies or whatever, it wouldn't happen anymore because it's on Zoom or whatever. I don't know, but it sounds like that stuff's all been handled. So unless you can tell me some current cultural wave that's happening within the organization. It's not any that's people that you don't like that happen to be also trying to get their life together, and then they say something that's upsetting or do something that's upsetting. And I mean, again, not to make any excuses, but like, I mean, it's just like you got to fight with someone at the grocery store. It's like you're gonna blame the grocery store for that. It's
like
like,
Schwartz, they're saying to people is, they always say kind of like a diplomatic way, it kind of eases people from feeling controlled, and then but then they have a way of getting you to kind of stay.
yeah, it's not easing you from being controlled. It is answering your question, and you are a free thinker.
On board that it's not all as dramatic as everybody makes it, and that's kind of
Yeah, if you can give me one example of your drama, I'd be happy to look at it, but I've watched hours and I can't find
how
any.
the whole thing stays going. I don't know if you're getting that vibe from this whole thing.
No, that is not the way the whole thing stays going. The whole thing stays going because the ideas are transformative in conversation, right? There's always a different conversation going back and forth, but it's the same ideas that we're talking about. And it's not about Warner, it's about the ideas.
Get it. All right, here's a little thing I'm going to ask the people in the live.
That would be like saying that we're worshiping Buddha if I go in a landmark form. It's like, no, some ideas come from Buddhism, but it's no like.
To do while we pull up the rest of the questions that I've started. Based on what you've heard us discuss, in your opinion, would you describe Landmark as
Again, opinion? I mean, is this what we need to make the news exist? You need to have talking heads batting one debate style versus another. I mean, look, I'm all down for that, but let's like get out of the world of opinions first. Let's get out of the world of thoughts and feelings first, and emotions and right and wrong and fact and fiction and all that stuff. And let's just be on reality and quote people and
is a cult? Yes or no? Let me know in the live.
empower people to live up to what they could be as opposed to what you don't like about them that they haven't been.
Okay, next one here. Okay, Acupunk says he considered himself God.
Speaking in that past tense on things, like they have done something, or as a community we have done this, but it's all in the past, versus we got to stop doing blah 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 is not empowering at all. It's we did do this and this is who we are going forward. Thinking that you are God, it's the God made you. If you're religious, God formed you. He put in all the divine wisdom all in your head already, that we're all connected and we're all one, and my emotions impact someone else's that impact someone else's, and all of a sudden it's a train of 700 people's emotions all back to back to back to back to back. Within an hour that could happen, right? If I have an emotional issue that I'm dealing with at that moment because my mom just died or something, like, and then I'm get on a phone call, and then it just ripple effects across society. So we're all connected, we're all one. If I'm going to be stewarding the environment versus cheaply ridding my garbage, then that's going to harm your 7 great grandchildren. And if you don't have kids, then I don't know, lead follow or get out of the way. I don't know, but we have a 7th generation grandchild to be looking out for right now, a few billion of them. And yeah, we have other things that are more
and source of best Landmark infallible. That's correct. Okay. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just so customized. So I have a deeper understanding of every sentence in the Bible after doing the forum. So it's not a matter of being infallible. It's not a matter of like comparing and God and none of this.
But from what I've read and heard and gotten from people, correct.
Interesting. Priscilla Isles said, would love to come on growing up in Scientology to talk about Landmark and One Taste. Have you heard of One Taste? You know
no, I have no idea what that is.
Because it's working. It can't be infallible. Well, I don't know. I have to look up infallible, but it's customized to every person. So every person's getting a greater level of happiness out of it. So it's not really a question that makes any sense. You can't say that that person's happiness is less in any event.
Okay. Yeah, Priscilla, you can email me at growingupinScientology@gmail.com. Okay, Randy Pinball says, the first thing you learn at Asked is, the truth believed is a lie. What in the hell does
The truth believed is a lie. Yes, truth and fact. If you notice, some people say that things are true, and other people say that the same exact thing is false. So, therefore, truth and false is really an opinion. What you are really looking for is reality. Reality is something way deeper than truth or beliefs or lie, true and lie. Yeah. Um, but it's it believing you have the beliefs.
that mean? Is that a landmark thing or that's just us?
Well, that's the
And that allows us to not be stuck with something. Once we find new information out, we're not stuck with, oh, well, that was true. It's like, well, that was what it was. And now that new information is presented, maybe that thing that I thought was true isn't true anymore. And I don't have to be stuck with it. And I don't have to walk around being like a zombie in the Matrix forever, thinking that everything that I was taught at 6 and 12 years old was the truth or was what I should believe.
there's nothing to believe here. We don't have a belief system. There's nothing to believe.
Oh, so the idea is the truth is the truth. It doesn't need to be believed. If it's something that you're believing, then it's a lie.
Correct.
Wow, that's deep. That's also very
Yeah, more like truth and lie are both opinions.
weird. Like, it's almost like, but because also anyone who'd be saying that is also presenting to you what they want you to see as the truth, but want to convince you that they're not just asking you to believe it. It's true just because it's
No, they're just asking questions, asking you to try it on for size, look out at your life and see how what was said reflects on your life, and then you come up with your own insights, own answers.
Believe is a word, like, at least from what I understand, if you said I believe something, that's like saying, you have a reason for something. We don't believe things around here. This isn't a belief system.
That is pure manipulation. Okay.
It's not manipulation whatsoever. It is literally do not be victim to manipulation. You don't have to, and be aware of other people manipulating, and you will, after the forum, halt most, if all, I don't know who would manipulate after the forum, but they would be much more aware if they were the one manipulating. So they would stop their manipulation and just, oh, I was a mess
Jeff Augustine says, Werner Erhard, you can have your reasons or your results. Now get off it, Brian. What does this mean? What does this mean?
Because the whole way we work is you keep your work.
There you go. I don't know why he's complaining about it. It's literally just take the coaching. So you could be right or you can have love. You can have your reasons or you can have your results. And get off it is like, bro, this is all the stuff that's in the forum. So you being a 26-year staff member, maybe just haven't been very present to this, in that this is all a story made up and dramatic and so
You
forth.
cause your results, and if you're not having the results, you need to get off it. Which
And not fun loving Brian. Where's fun loving Brian?
is why my whole mission is let either a cult or they need to get off it. That's my whole opinion. Like,
And a choice of sexuality is not a way of being. That's your choice of sexuality, and then there's a way of being. There's a completely separate
you're
non-secular.
all these things that are comparable to all these other organizations, or you need to get off of it.
Yeah, and landmark, you don't compare because comparing is despairing. So if I compare myself to someone else that's better than me, I'm gonna like beat myself up. If I compare myself to someone that's worse than me, then I'm not gonna be challenged. If I compare landmark and Scientology, then it's just gonna put me into like a spiral of just like opinions and thoughts and concerns, and just get on the phone and talk to somebody. Talk to someone that invited you to the forum, or call your local center, or just register. It's like you have nothing to lose, literally.
No choice.
What does get off it mean?
Okay, so it's actually I still get off it.
Is this an actual like landmark phrase?
Yeah, the term
Get off it.
that when you hold on to a point of view and you're only willing to see the world from that point of view, you're on it. So you could say
You switched to car videos, so maybe he's off it.
that since I was not happy.
That's a bad thing.
Well, being on it is you're on it, and it's, well, how is that going to help you, Aaron? If you're being,
I'm just clarifying, negative phrase.
yeah, it's negative because if you're right, if you're going to hold on to being right, that your wife should be more loving with you, and well, you're on it. I mean, what is getting right going to get you? So you get off it. Just get off it. She's going to be the way she is. Let her be. Get off it.
Kind of, sort of. Also empowering your wife to get the same discoveries. Well, I mean, she's discovering her own things on her own terms, but that are the her insights that would come from the questions being asked in the forum, um, would cause her to get your point of view and cause her to possibly shift that. So you don't necessarily have to get off it and like man up about every situation ever. No, make it so that it works for you and it also works for that person.
Interesting.
If you have the results, you're on it. Go cause something. You can have reasons or you can have your results. So this is people who work in like a stock brokerage love this shit. I mean, it is like slam, bam, thank you, ma'am. And you know, when you start calling in and causing your results and your registrations and you're on a roll, that can be some great stuff. And if you're not, you're on it. So it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter how messed up the situation. It doesn't even matter if they're lying to you. You're on it. So I'm on it. I'm on this whole 2 hours and whatever means Brian is on it. It's our version of being a suppressive person. You know him. He got on it. He quit. He got on it.
This is such a funny phrase.
It's fabulous, actually. But you know, sometimes, like, I don't know. There's valid. All these things are valid in a normal, like, healthy way. But they can all be used for manipulation. It can all be manipulation.
Totally.
I'm gonna push back on that. I don't think this is something that can be really used. Really interesting. All right, so the guy from Nexium got arrested for 120 years in prison. So he got in trouble quickly. Hopefully no one was like seriously harmed by that. I'd be interested. I mean, I'm sure people, went through abuse they went through. Getting them to do the form would be amazing. And now you got to go through the same basic instruction over again to deprogram them from, well, hopefully the Nexium was literally just all good and nothing and only abusive by that one person, which is why we don't have one charismatic leader, right? And
Eve Barney says, I was in S for years. It was very abusive and damaging. Like Scientology, that was my fault. I can't tell you how deep this went, but
yeah, I mean, that's why Asta's gone. I mean, again, this abuse and damaging, I don't know like exactly what that is, and that seems to just be someone screaming at you and now you're happy, and in which case, like, would you rather have gone the last 20, 30, so 1990, so 34 years? Would you rather go 35 years of not being happy, or would you rather been yelled at in a hotel for 3 days or 2 weekends or whatever it was, and now you've been happy the last 30 years? Like, I'm not justifying that or excusing that or anything like that, but the point is that they heard the criticism and they went back and they made it not authoritarian at all. There's a great recording online of Warner talking about, it's not called authoritarianism, but I don't remember which recording it is. It's very abusive. That was my fault. I can't tell you how deep this went. Oh, she's saying that the abuse and the damage that they gave is her fault. It's like, no, 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 no. And I bet you, Evie Barney, that you live a pretty good life if you're tipping $20 for this. How deep it went. So she's doing this. This is the vicious cycle. This is it's their fault. They're blaming. They're abusing. It happened. Then the collapsing of the what happened with the abuse and the damage. The story about what happened. It's so amazing how people just like you just point out what happens in your forum. What the distinctions are, and how you're literally falling into out of the distinctions which are empowering, and this is disempowering. Like, it's just so disempowering to carry around this abuse and damage when all they did was yell at you and say, "I don't give an F about your what you think." Like, it's not. That is straight and true because the thoughts are not you thinking; it's thinking. You just have the thoughts. But to find out it's not really gone is very disturbing. Just let it go. Make a phone call to whoever you have to make a phone call to, write a letter, do whatever you have to say or do to be able to put this in the past. This is why I relate to SPs, social, I guess to his channel. Yeah, I mean, I don't.
find out it's not really gone is very disturbing. This is why I relate to SPs.
Thank you.
Do Landmark members, are they fully aware that Landmark came from S?
Oh, yeah. We all know that.
Are they also fully aware that S came from Scientology?
Yeah, we just, I still, every time you say it, I'm like, okay.
I mean, it's just not. That's like saying the Landmark Forum came from Buddhism. It's too much of a generality. We had to go there to get here.
You say that. I can't because I'm so trained.
And there's no long-term commitment. There's nothing wrong or concerning about Landmark whatsoever. I'd be happy to look more into Scientology, but I am concerned about the billion-year contract and the um, so forth.
I don't have any. I've never done.
Having to go back for time and time and time again, like a church that you would go to every Sunday or whatever, which is fine. It's just that's not going to work for everybody. It's going to work for people that choose to be Scientologists right now. But if people that are choosing to be Scientologists right now decide to check out the forum, like I don't know, either something radically great would happen within that organization, or they would leave that organization. But like either way, it's a good thing.
Done the research to get myself clear about
Leave not in a bad way, but leave in a way of like they're thinking freely.
that. So I don't know for sure, but clearly, people say it does, and it used to be common knowledge that it was. My therapist said to me that used to be common knowledge. Maybe it didn't get, it isn't common knowledge. So part of my whole beef
I mean, it's all over the internet. It's pretty common now.
that they did a good job at having like not giving me all the information, but people would bring up S from time to time. And really, what we would say is, well, it was in the 70s, and it was really a big thing, and it was kind of died when disco died. And now we took the best of that and turned it into a professional organization. That's the way you would represent that when you're talking to the public. Or
It was pretty dang professional then too. Just happened to be, I don't give an F what you think is like,
Interesting.
so they refined it a little bit, sure, but they were extremely professional and everyone got tons of value out of it. And yeah, that's how they chose to break through people. You have that guy come in there with a lot of ego and a tough guy. You want a guy to say, I don't give an F what you think to that tough guy and put them in their place and have that person have like the best life of their life, best life of their rather than like go through being an egotistical jerk off for the rest of your life. Like that's not a good recipe for anything.
Indigo Twin says, thank you for sharing your story. It amazes me how many people take a good idea for self-help and twist it to manipulate others.
Yeah, this is 12 good ideas and then another 12 good ideas all packaged, and you get to buy it and you could totally read all the books you want on these things, and I'd be happy to tell you what those books are that of where this stuff comes from, Buddhism, all these different books. But I know a ton of people that have read all of those books and they're not enlightened and they're not happy. So the act of reading the book and getting the ideas is not just the only thing. It's a conversation, and it's an action after the conversation, an assignment, to call somebody that you've been thinking about. And if you bury the fact that you've been thinking about that person, that's not going to work for your life. It's the person that's important to you in your life. So why would you not call them and say, hey, I've been thinking about you. I just, came across this idea of fill in the blank of the distinction. We've gone over not knowing and not knowing and the sea of opinions and all these things. So, yeah, taking an action on that is not in any way manipulation, and twisted to manipulate others. No, no, that's not landmark. It's not landmark. I don't know what that is. But that is not landmark. See, it's people are so vague about it. They see NXIVM or Scientology, and then they like comment about it. And then since they're interviewing a guy from Landmark,
Right, this I think makes sense.
because the self-help industry is unregulated. So
yeah, I don't know. Landmark is incredibly self-regulated. And I have heard that they are not self-help. Self-help is like motivation. It takes something behind it. So yeah, I'm not entirely clear on all that, but I have heard and would say that Landmark is a lot more of empowerment. I don't even know if it's self-empowerment.
in that is it
I guess so.
cult book, which I keep promoting, just because I was riveted by
This cult book that I keep promoting, like, are you making a cutoff of this stuff? Like, I just don't understand whether a bunch of them are starting it's good to start a channel and get the word out there at least so I can comment back at
it's
it.
really easy to read too, but where she ends up is a commitment. There's an organization,
And I wasn't aware of Eric and I wasn't aware of Anne before, so it's nice.
Seek Safely. So this group of people, their family members were killed in a sweat lodge incident in Arizona.
Yeah, like, here you go. Now we're talking about some random cult, and then like since you like
As part of a
Landmark, it's
organization
now related.
in 2009, and so they created this non-for-profit called Seek Safely for seeking people like me who are seeking something, but to create a way in which people do that and they don't get themselves in these dangerous situations. Some kind of regulation and agreed upon conditions when it comes to self-help.
He's talking about regulating the self-help industry. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks like NXIVM got their sounds like they got some kind of money, right? And then 120 years in prison, and then the example set by that guy that you don't use it for bad. And yeah, otherwise it'd be very hard to use this stuff for bad because you're taking that action. I like had been uh, treating my mom like a nag for years, and then I gave that up and like had that conversation with her, and now like I love my mom. And like that's the issue when like a world leader gets up there and they don't love their parents. That's a like a recipe for disaster, you know what I mean? It's like, and you don't have to like love what they did or whatever, but it's like writing that letter or having that conversation gets the weight off of your shoulders. Nothing to do with your parents. It has to do everything with you.
Athena for one, welcome as a new channel member. And Eat More Pizza, thank you for gifting 5 channel memberships. And last but not least, Tim. Hey all, I'm Brian's boyfriend. He was super nervous about this. So thanks to all of you for listening and for your support. I just paced the house all day. I couldn't get anything done. I'm like, I'm tired. I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, but I just felt that I really, this meant the world. Landmark meant the world to me. So to have to change my attitude on it and change my mind after receiving more information, what
Don't. You haven't received information. You're talking to a lot of people that are like trying to sell their own thing and people that are, I don't know. I don't know if they're paid by Scientology or what.
a huge upset. And it's going to take a while to get it, to get it all worked.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been a year. You haven't posted anything, so knock wood, it's all done and over with in the past, and you can focus on all the other things you got.
For myself.
That makes sense. So what do you feel is what is the message? Is your message that is your message more for people who are
Again, it's it feeling. It's not you have the feelings. It's it feeling. So people ask these things like, what do you think? Or what's your opinion on? Or like, what do you feel? It's like all of that stuff. That's like hours and hours and decades of conversations that don't even need to exist. And once we take that stuff out, not to say to invalidate it, it's a real feeling. It's just not real. So if we take out the conversation about how everybody feels and wants and doesn't want and thinks and doesn't think, it's going to save us a boatload of time. We can focus on all the other things that are important. Mm-mm-mm.
still working or volunteering for Landmark, or is it more for people who are considering doing Landmark and
Yeah, it's assisting. It seems like people are making 50 to $60,000, which tells me it's around like 54,000 a year. It sounds like that last $4 or $5,000 up to 10 grand is an employee ownership stock. I don't know that, but it sounds like that. In which case it's like all the more reason to shoot for that 60K a year. And like 60K a year, like even in New York City, because I live in like Jersey, is like totally very workable, especially if you want to like live with people. And I'm telling you, you're making 60 grand a year, but you're also getting trained every single day on these like extremely tough, not tough, but they're tough to a lot of people. I mean, we're dealing with all of the corruption all over the finance industry and the media, just for two examples of two behemoth industries. Um, and like, yeah, it's gonna take what it's gonna take, and it's gonna come off as a little intense if you want to choose to work there, especially if you want to choose to work there for 26 years.
Well, there's so many people about doing Landmark, but all you have to do is there's a million YouTube videos for people like I went to this introduction, it was crazy. So, I would not recommend doing Landmark at this point until I don't believe in being part of any organization that is going to
You just said that there's no membership, so you're not a part of any organization, and they didn't lie to you. You are getting sucked into this pipeline of Scientology and cults and then you're like breeding into it and believing what all these commenters are saying, and who knows who these commenters are, and they're all like a void avatar with no actual person or videos that they're making or even a photo on their profile. They got like nothing, who knows if they're real. And then it's like, give me the example. All these people, I can see paragraphs and paragraphs of like abuse and manipulation. And it's like, okay, what exactly happened? No response.
do these things, and I understand I was a part of that, so I have to deal with that for myself. But I drew the line when I felt it had been like I
Just tell people to do the form in the advanced course. That's it. It's like if you want to do more, you can do more, but just know that it's your choice at that point. And you should probably have your money handled. You probably have your health somewhat handled. And you probably have your relationship, your intimate relationship handled. And then you go back on staff, or maybe you do staff when you're young, and then do a certain small commitment, and then go get married and have kids or whatever, and then come back to staff. I don't know, but this is your life. It's your choice. It's your freedom. You have free choice. You're enlightened.
yeah, remedy, all these things you guys talk about, like when you kind of woke up, and that's how I feel about it. I would love to believe that the people who run Landmark really do care, and the program really does have a place because it made such a difference, and that will never go away for me. What the difference?
Yes, exactly. It'll never go away for you. And the point is that you took that course when you were 20 and you're 40, so 26 years ago. I don't know if you worked there the entire time, but okay, so you took it when you were 26 years ago. That that experience that you had, you got other experiences and other opportunities in your life, and then in any event, you don't need to take it again. It's like
The program made for me. But I do not. I would like
use the
people
word
who
cult at all is just absurd. It's just
stand by it kind of blindly. To I don't. This might be political. I don't mean to be an asshole, but I'm a gay person. I don't eat at Chick-fil-A. Okay. I mean, they went after gay people. I'm like, done. I'm sure it's great. Everybody else loves it, and I often think it'd be great to have chicken and waffle fries. But I mean, people they don't have to. If they love this place, they think it's worth it. Then put your consumer dollars where they matter, and don't pay and participate while these things are not corrected. And don't buy another line that it will be someday, one day.
okay, that's people that are anti what you are.
And I think that would be really cool. I'm afraid to find out that it really is underneath it all mind control. And
Yeah, you keep digging for something and you keep not finding it. And people have been digging and digging and digging for 50 years and they haven't found anything. They just finally say, okay, I'll take the freaking course already. And they take it, and it's 5 days, and the advanced course is 5 days. It's 10 days for the rest of your life. It's $1,830 for the rest of your life.
I still keep having every day.
$200 deposit for the forum.
I wake up and I go, it hits me harder.
$9.15 for each, $1,830 together.
Like, oh, you were really in a messed up situation. This really is.
No, you're not in a really messed up situation. This is all covered in the forum where you're taking something that happened and then you're making it mean something else.
And you think, and I hear stories that people call me and tell me about things that happened to them that make me cry. And I'm not talking about them here because they're their stories, not mine.
Yes, because you're getting hung up on it and you're so right. And then you're gathering evidence from someone else that claims that it was manipulation, but really they can't tell you a he said, she said. And they were your friend, so you get hung up with, on this spiral.
But it's more brutal than what I shared for people who've been through it. So in that level, I think the messages get, and then I know the people who are working there and volunteering. If you don't want to be there, if you're talking,
I keep hearing, I have dozens of victims, hundreds of victims. It's all coming out, and it just never does.
Yourself, I invite you to do what I did. Just end it. Go. Because they're really good at sucking you back in for as long as they possibly can and to control the narrative of your leaving, so they can't.
Yeah, I mean, if you're employed there and you have a job there and you cut out of your 6 month leaving plan early and they haven't fulfilled your spot yet, like refilled your position yet, yeah, of course they're dealing with something that maybe they haven't dealt with before. Um, being ultra responsible for it, I would like find somebody else to fill the role. You know what I mean? I don't know. And stay there with them for a while. And I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter though. You just end your agreement when you had the agreement until, and don't leave early. I mean, you could leave early, but I'm just saying it's not, maybe you want that on your conscience for the rest of your life. Maybe you don't. I don't foresee you do. I mean, if the whole thing is about integrity and relationships and existence and inspiration, that doesn't meet any of that stuff. That's like the 4 pillars for winning in a game. So that's like literally I'm doing the opposite of all 4 pillars.
They can be regarded as like an organization where anybody can leave. Just go. That's my message. It's a line I've drawn. So exactly.
Yeah, just finish your agreement and leave. Like it's not, nobody's handcuffing you, nobody's doing anything.
Answer your question.
And you're getting free value from and getting paid if you're staff. And if you're assisting, then you're getting free value.
So yeah, absolutely. Now you're starting a YouTube channel. You already
yes, I'm going to start. I think so. We'll see how this went. But the name of it is going to be Leaving Landmark, I believe, and it's just going to be giving people I'm going through this Leaving Landmark, so why not do it publicly? And why not create a platform for other people to share and who have been through I've been through. What's so inspiring that you're doing, I was watching you yesterday and you're all broken up about your guys' protest. It was so moving. And I think what's happening here is so inspiring with the Scientology community. And I start to see that if I start speaking and then somebody in Australia starts a YouTube channel and
then yeah, it's not a big deal. People are like, they're being exposed. What do they say? It's like, I don't know. They keep saying it will happen and people are reaching out and it's like, okay. Oh, and like I'm speaking up, but why don't that's what it is. It's why don't more people speak out about Landmark? It's like because they know how to address an issue. If there is an issue, they will handle the issue. It's not going to get out because they handle it to your satisfaction. I know it's weird having very few negative reviews or 93% satisfaction rating, but that's because they handle their customers. They don't let their customers, and it's not that they're not letting them. It's they are getting out everything they need to say. They're not doing anything illegal at all, and they are leaving the conversation complete. I mean, that's the whole point of the completion conversations. Like, I'm not going to leave someone. Let's let a customer leave me without finding out what did we do. Oh, you think that we abused you? Okay, let's talk about it. I'm not going to leave you and let you go online and say stuff about me that has no base in reality whatsoever. Um, yeah, it's all goes down to the he said, she said. So, and good thing everything's on Zoom now, so it's all recorded, but it's literally like I said this and they said that. And generally it's like a misunderstanding and people are like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you meant this. You meant that. So sorry." And then it ends. And that's why people aren't speaking out about something bad happening because it was just a miscommunication to begin with or whatever it is.
And somebody
There's
an Indian does,
mostly
and then
people
somebody
having
Facebook
success
does, and
with
you
it.
can actually either
Like I said, 93% satisfaction rating a year afterwards. So that tells you that it's long lasting, and that tells you, like, I've never seen any company with a 93% over 34 years.
landmark, they can just people won't put up with their crap anymore, or something will happen because
There's no crap happening. You didn't want to be on staff anymore. That's all good. Go do you, man.
the nice thing about landmark being a business and not a religion is it doesn't have tax exempt status. It doesn't have billions of dollars that it's hoarded from people. And Werner, in his smarts and in his, if he wanted to do that, he should have created a religion. But instead, the market can we have the
Yeah, L. Ron Hubbard created the religion, and Warner went on to create this.
and when you have in landmark, you have committed lines of speaking. So you're supposed to go to your committed listener, and then if you can't get something resolved, you go to their committed listener. And if you can't get that resolved, you have to go to this.
This is, I guess, staff he's talking about. There's no committed listener in the forum or the advanced course. You can always call the center. You can always get one-on-one time with the Landmark forum leader. And yeah, you can chat with people as they come in or go out or whichever like that.
The CEO. And if you can't get that resolved, it's like, okay, you go to the board of directors. Well, I realized at the higher level, I've been going to all these people. I was the president with most of this right before I left. I went high. I didn't go all the way to the board of directors, but I realized there's a higher place. They always said there isn't one. It's called the court of public opinion.
I love it. I absolutely love it. You know what? We spoke earlier about how
Oh, well, here you go. This is literally the court of public opinion right here because you made it public. So, um, yeah, I mean, look, it seems like the last thing that you did when you left is you found out there was some kind of lawsuit going on, and then you decided, well, that means that they're lying to me. And again, it's a business, so they deal with lawsuits all around the world, but not few of them. And if you search them, you'll find them, and they end up like settling out. So there's no active anything pending. I mean, again, companies do not last 34 years and have a 93% satisfaction. They don't. They
most
go
people
out of
just leave, and there's no real negative consequences. But we also had a conversation before, earlier today about people being really afraid of being sued by landmarks. So what's going on
religion completely separate.
there?
Okay, well, when you speak out, if you call
Yeah, here you go. Like Brian's going to appeal to being the expert, and he really doesn't know anything. The guy at the top told him that, yes, we were in a lawsuit, and that was it.
landmark a cult directly, there have been people that have been sued for many, many years because because people can leave freely, it doesn't meet the
Yeah, again, every lawsuit's already been handled and like there's no like trash that you'll see online. If there was a lot of people harmed, there would be a lot of people online actually giving you the he said, she said account of he touched me and he did this and he made me drink this and none of that's happening. It's like
criteria of the definition of being a cult.
But there's no legal criteria. That's just people's academic.
Every academic definition of a cult, every dictionary definition of a cult is exact opposite to what landmark is. It's not one facet of cultness in it. So this culty thing, oh, they made me enroll people. It's like, I'm sorry if you felt that way. That wasn't the intention at all, ever. You don't have to you don't have to have anybody in your family sign up. You don't even have to raise your hand. Now, if you did have, like I said, my best friend sign up and a good friend, another good friend of mine and her husband sign up and my wife sign up, like if having those things made me incredibly happy to see them and their level of happiness. My wife was and I were not as happy before she did the form. And I was not as happy before I did the forum. So that's not culty to recommend a movie or a restaurant. Like it's not culty to want someone to want what they say that they want, which is happiness or freedom from anxiety or whatever it is that they want.
I don't know the answer to that, Aaron. I haven't been involved in the lawsuits, but the woman who wrote a book called Cults and Our Myths.
Peace of mind. Here you go. I read in a book. See, I read. This is all romantic sensations.
She was like pre-Stephen Hassan. Her name was Margaret Singer, and she was very
again done the Stephen Hassan bite model. It doesn't match any of that.
down for her work. She included Landmark in her book, and she got sued. Really, she almost went bankrupt from it, and she had to give a retraction, which we all know at Landmark because it's part of our corporate questions and answers to be able to say no. She said it wasn't a cult. So see, since she was sued, she said, and she never actually she called it a potentially harmful group. So she could authentically say no, I never did call it a cult, but she said that publicly, and then we could use that to say no, she never called it a cult. So calling Landmark a cult has gotten a lot of people, especially when they publish things or they do things like this. It could be libelous. It could be
yeah, because it's not even close to being true. Rick Ross says it isn't, and then maybe it is at the higher levels. It's like, bro, you are just so you don't even want to do the forum, and then you want to talk about the higher levels of something you don't even know about, and you've never even asked anybody about, which they're very clear about in the forum if you want.
The other
I don't know if I was clear, so it's real estate, travel, telecom and office supplies and staff. Those are the four things that they pay. And yeah, they get all their licenses from all their companies that use them. Walgreens, Lockheed Martin, NASA, all the different companies that license their technologies.
litigious things that come up from this is there's a whole group of people who we all sign legal agreements. So one of the other things is
yeah, I mean it's a good thing, not a good thing that we're litigious, but a good thing that we have the law on our side. We know what we're doing, and we know that we're benefiting people. And again, when I say we, I am not involved in this organization whatsoever. I have nothing to do with Landmark.
when the whole time you're on staff or work with Landmark people in your program leader, you're not allowed to do business with other people who are also Landmark people.
Yeah, you don't want multi-level marketing popping up inside of the staff or inside of, I mean, the organization in general. But yeah, so some people happen to make a living doing something that, yeah, I guess is pretty clear as a multi-level marketing. And that's just how that person's making money, and you don't have to buy into their product. And they just happen to meet you in Landmark, and therefore you're blaming Landmark for multi-level market. It's like that person is just a participant or assisting or working there, but well, wouldn't be working there, obviously, in this case. But yeah, so they're banned from that.
And when you,
My point is just because it happened in Landmark doesn't mean that that's a Landmark thing. That's like a people thing, like a humanity.
I'm under a 3-year. I don't think it could be held, but I could be challenged. So all my training is coaching people, but I'm in a 3-year non-compete agreement to not be able to do my own profession.
Yeah, yeah, we can't use your you'll find I think you're recruiting and you're great at that and you're having fun with that and that's great and then you can hire people and then teach them to be great. Um Yeah, there's nothing that says that you can't go be in recruiting or sales. I don't know another industry off the top of my head. I mean, even retail and training people, if you could get a manager job as retail. But it sounds like you're in recruiting. So if you keep doing a good job recruiting, and then if you hire people recruiting, you could be managing people and still managing, teaching, coaching, training, doing all the things that you love to do or not, just going to another industry. But if that's all the skill sets that you have, nobody's stopping you from doing that. They're non-compete. Yeah, you're not competing against Landmark. I don't know why you wouldn't want the people that work with you to do the forum. So you're not competing with them. You're continuing to do what you were doing before, but now it's just like you're making money based on your own recruiting and sales as opposed to making money working directly for the people.
And so what happens is they can't uphold these things. But every friend I know who goes out and they do like I'm gonna be a business consultant or I'm gonna go do
Can't uphold these things.
they get a cease and desist and they have to start dealing with Landmark's legal department. And
Yeah, if Anne goes out and tries to sell the distinctions of the forum as her own and how she can transform their business without having them purchase anything from Vanto Group or from Landmark Worldwide. I mean, that just seems like you're totally ripping off. Like, how's that not clear?
if I said anything here that was like me trying to coach everybody in the technology of Landmark, I could get sued for that as well. So it's super litigious, and you have to watch what you say.
Yeah, just bring them on to an introduction with Center Director and
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, Werner Erhard, or who's his brother?
Earhart, like Amelia Earhart. Yeah, Earhart.
What's his brother's name?
Harry Rosenberg and Joan Rosenberg.
Harry and Joan Rosenberg? Harry and Joan, I'm looking right at you. Even if people like taking your form, I think the organization is a cult. And you're welcome to sue me if you want.
Yeah, again, you think. So that's a sea of opinion. That's not even you thinking. It's thinking. You're having the thoughts.
Oh, you're so funny. I told him before this. I'm like, don't say that. I don't think you can say that.
Harry, Joan, and Grant Cardone can all take a number and get in line.
Okay, all right, good. Was there anything else?
No, this was a blast. Thank you so much for coming on. I know this was a big deal for you, but it's also a big deal for me. I really wanted to have this conversation for a while, so thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for creating this platform and everything everybody's doing and dealing with these groups. And definitely, I'm blown away by what you're doing. I still think Scientology is worse, because I hear all these stories. You guys win the prize of being the most fucked up, I think. But anyways, but I'm moved. I'm so blown away by your relentless campaigning and what you're doing. It's inspiring. And I think it's gonna make a huge difference across all these.
I don't know what Grant Cardone has to do. I mean, he goes to a church of Scientology, but it's just so crazy how people like bring up people's religion and they like use that as a judgment against them. It's like, when on earth did we ever bring up like, oh, are you a Christian? Like in the middle of like a interview about business or about his company or about whatever. Um, I mean, I don't think his employees are like forced to go to Church of Scientology. Maybe they're invited. I don't know, but yeah, I would love to. I gotta find this guy Aaron because like I went in the description and it's not there. But yeah, hope you're having a great day. Peace out.